If you were with us last hour here on CBC News Morning, we hope you were, you saw Colleen's interview with Georges St-Pierre. He is the Montrealer who has become an absolute superstar in the world of ultimate fighting, and he's headlining tomorrow night's UFC card at Montreal's Bell Centre, a sellout just like that. Well, ultimate fighting is also known as mixed martial arts, and it's very popular. A lot of concerns about its violence, but it's very, very popular. And Neil Koksel is finding more out about it today, this morning. You've had a tough week, Neil, in the hip weights for the fog. Exactly. A little bit more participation from you. You're in the ring this morning.
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
We are here at the Toronto Kickboxing and Muay Thai Academy here in Toronto. And, you know, you mentioned how quickly the tickets sold out for the Montreal matchup. A lot of the reason for that is this is the first time MMA, UFC has come to Canada. It's illegal, actually, for it to come to Ontario, although people can train in gyms like this one. But with all of that popularity, there is all of the controversy as well. And a lot of it is because the pictures we're going to show you of the matchups, you know, people see the octagon, think of it as a blood sport, human cockfighting, some have even called it. But here at this gym, here with Warren Lee, who is an expert and a trainer in MMA, we're going to find out a little bit more. So, Warren, I want to find out from you, so many people think that this is just a blood sport and really shouldn't come to Canada. What do you think is the biggest misconception about MMA and particularly UFC?
I believe the biggest misconception, exactly what you said before, it is a human cockfight. It used to be a human cockfight, but actually it is a very young sport, and it has evolved now to be more of a sport where you have athletes train in different disciplines, and there are a lot of rules in it now. So they're trying to make it more of a fashionable sport that people can come and train, and before, unfortunately, had that reputation of just being a blood fest, but we're trying to change that now.
And there's a lot of skill involved, several different martial arts disciplines. Tell me a bit about what's involved.
Yes, definitely a lot of different skills involved. You have people that have to train in many different martial arts. They have to be proficient at punching and kicking on their feet. They have to be proficient in something called a clinch, where they grab each other, and they have to be proficient on the ground. It goes on the ground, and there's different martial arts to address the different ranges of fighting.
And why do you think it's risen in popularity so much? I heard just on the radio that a lot of young people are actually switching to watching UFC rather than WWE wrestling, which has been so popular.
I believe that's because people are looking for something a little bit different. WWF, WWE nowadays, it's been around for a long time, and people know it's fake, and it's a lot of fun to watch. But the thing about mixed martial arts is that it's very exciting, and it's generally not fixed, and you can see actual skills being used to dominate the opponent, just like the gladiators of old.
And you are going to the matchup in Montreal on Saturday. Front row seats, you told me. Who are you picking to win?
It's hard for me to answer that, because if I say one or the other, I think I'm going to get booed upon. Yeah, exactly. So I just want to say that I believe that both athletes have a very good chance of winning, which is Matt Serra and Georges St-Pierre, which is the main match, and I wish them both the best of luck.
Should be a fun match, the first one in Canada.
This will actually make history, so the people that are there live, this is historic, and I believe that if it goes well, this is the landmark, and this will open up all the doors for a lot more competitions in Canada.
Well, we'll see if Ontario changes its mind eventually and what happens in Saturday's matchup. Heather, we're going to have more from this gym later throughout the morning, some demonstrations, not from me, from some experts, but we'll get some more information about MMA.
I'm counting on you. I want to see a couple of rounds with the bags there behiund you, and maybe show us some of those.
All
right. Thank you, Neil. Neil Koksel's in Toronto. Now back to Colleen. And
are brought out of this dungeon-like setting for years and reintroduced to their siblings, people they never knew or don't remember. Why would that be done in the early stages?
We've been talking this morning about a big sporting event that's taking place tomorrow night at Montreal's Bell Centre, and it's not a Canadians game. It is the Ultimate Fighting Championships that feature Montreal's own Georges St-Pierre as sort of the headline match. Ultimate fighting is something known as well as mixed martial arts, and Neil Koksel is learning more about it. We have suited her up, sent her into the ring for this reporting, and she's live with us this morning. Hi, Neil.
Good morning, Heather. Not suited up quite yet, but I'm telling you, you know, there's so much popularity growing for mixed martial arts here. It's illegal to have a matchup here in Ontario, but that has done nothing to decrease the popularity or the group of people training, the amount of people training. Here in this gym, you'll see behind me, this is a couple, Guy and Fernanda, a married couple that does mixed martial arts for fun. it's an interesting way to get out your marital aggressions, I think. And what they're trying to get across here as we lead up to this match is that it's a lot about skill, not just the blood sport. It's about several different disciplines of martial arts all together. And but still, this is what it looks like in practice. But what a lot of people find controversial is what happens in the octagon, in the ring. And we have images of some matchups to show you. A lot of people say it's simply a blood sport, simply human cockfighting. It's just too much, and that is why it is illegal in many places, including Ontario. But speaking to Warren Lee, the owner of this gym that I'm in, he says that's changing. That is a misconception about this sport that people need to recognize. It is about skill.
It is a very young sport, and it has evolved now to be more of a sport where you have athletes train in different disciplines, and there are a lot of rules in it now. So they're trying to make it more of a fashionable sport that people can come and train, and before, unfortunately, had that reputation of just being a blood fest, but we're trying to change that now.
And part of that is working. You know, their efforts are working. Just on the radio this morning, Heather, I was listening to sports radio, and they said it's getting so big in popularity, UFC and mixed martial arts. They actually think it's going to surpass WWE wrestling, particularly among young people, because they really want to see real fighting. And, you know, WWE for a lot of people is fun to watch, but they know that really it is fake in the end. So they want to see the real sport in action, and that is why tickets for the Montreal match sold in mere minutes, but still illegal in Ontario. They're hoping that this first matchup in Ontario, rather in Montreal, will open the doors to have more matches across Canada, because the popularity, as I said, is increasing so quickly.
Neil, thanks. We were talking here in the studio whether it was mixed martial arts or mixed marital arts based on our last guest there. That was terrific. That's why the name, mixed martial arts. Thanks, Colleen. Now, Neil Coxell, because this is such a, concerns of violence aside, such a fast growth.
Good to talk to you. Thanks so much for being with us and helping us to understand what's ahead. Absolutely.
So because this is such a, concerns of violence aside, such a fast-growing sport, we have Neil Coxell out learning more about it and telling us more about it. She's ringside, or are you in the ring now, Neil? I can't really tell exactly, but all the details with Neil now.
Yeah, 3 words, Heather. Rear naked choke, and this is what it looks like.
Not bad. No.
This is one of the most popular finishing moves. Thank you, Warren, for
Have
being
you been working on that all morning, or do you do this?
Yeah, I've been practicing, but I'm going to do it now, I think. And this is another reason why. This is just one of the moves that we did, one of the most popular finishes. But if you look behind us here, we've got Guy and his wife, Fernanda. They're a married couple. You know, Saint-Pierre was mentioning that there's not anger, but heart. I think we've got a little bit of both, mixed marital arts. We were joking before. This is showing some of the skill. We mentioned all the different martial arts that are involved in this, and the skill is what people want to focus on now as they try to market UFC and mixed martial arts more and more. But this is what it looks like in practice, but in reality, in the ring, in the octagon, is what is causing so much controversy for people. We have images of those kind of matches too. Really, a blood sport, many would call it, human cockfighting even. Some have gone so far as to say. And because of that, the bloody aspect of it, that is why it's so controversial, and in fact illegal to have a match like we're seeing in Montreal here in Ontario. But the focus now from people like Warren that you just saw and the team behind me is to change that perception of it and make people know that, let people know that it's not about blood, it's about skill.
It is a very young sport, and it has evolved now to be more of a sport where you have athletes train in different disciplines, and there are a lot of rules in it now. So they're trying to make it more of a fashionable sport that people can come and train, and before, unfortunately, had that reputation of just being a blood fest, but we're trying to change that now.
And their efforts to try to change that, Heather, seem to be working. You know, just in this morning, all the talk on sports radio was all about the Montreal matchup and mixed martial arts in the UFC. And some are actually saying that among young people, wrestling, the WWE, is really becoming passé, and the focus now is on the real sport of mixed martial arts in the ring.
Very interesting. Yes, sell out in just a matter of hours in Montreal. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a good participatory reporting all week, Neil.
I think we should do a CBC News morning class.
Yeah.
Get out our aggressions.
Yeah. It is a good idea for that, I think. Listen, thanks a lot, Neil. Neil Coaxel ringside with us this morning. Stay with us. Colleen will be back to take a look at your forecast.